guys, started putting the Buick together a little bit today, and pretty happy with it. It's actually finally get to see it in one solid color. I'm excited basically. But anyway, I got the wheels cleaned and polished real good. I got the blue stuff off the white letters on the tires finally. That stuff's been on there since I bought the tires like over a year ago. And so I started putting the trim on the car, and I thought I would kind of touch on something that it might help some of the other A&G body guys out. So your trim, like your windshield trim, back glass trim, your grip rail trim and stuff on your G-body or A-body is aluminum, and it has a clear anodized coating on it. Now, I have tried aircraft remover, the brush-on kind, which is probably one of the best paint removers on the market, one of the best. It didn't touch that clear anodized coating on these aluminum trim pieces. So then I tried Easy Off Oven Cleaner, and it didn't touch it either. So anyway, what I ended up having to do is basically sand it all off. That was on my Cutlass Salon that I restored a couple of years ago. Ended up having to sand every piece till the anodized coating come off. It was very, very labor intensive. I had hours in that trim, but it did look fantastic when it was done. Now the bad part is aluminum dulls out easily and oxidizes. So you got to keep it polished. Now there are some products on the market. I think one of them is called Shark Skin or something. It's for like build aluminum hot rod parts, and you can put it on there and it like protects it. It's like some kind of coating. So you can put that on there and you probably get by for a little while. But you know, if you sand the anodizing off to polish them, and then they're probably not going to last very long. Probably within just a few months, I would imagine. If the car's kept outside, especially, they'll probably start tarnishing out, just like aluminum wheels would, you know. Anyway, so this would be a trick here. I'm going to show you. Some of you guys probably already know it, but for some of you that don't, now trim on a car, like if you get your car painted, you definitely want to polish on your trim a little bit before you put it on the car, because trim kind of makes the whole of the car in the end. You know, all your lenses, chrome, aluminum or stainless trim, emblems, all that stuff. If that stuff's real shiny and bright when you put it on your new paint job, your car looks brand new. So if you spend a lot of money on a paint job and then you put all your old crappy trim and stuff back on, it's going to look like hell. It's going to look like a very backyard paint job type of deal. So anyway, this is what I do. So the trim on the car, the anodizing, it basically turns gray or almost kind of white looking over time. It's probably not going to show up with all the lights in here because it always seems like a whiteout in here. But anyway, it has just a tarnished look to it. So I don't want to go through here and sand and buff every piece of trim because it would take me probably all weekend to do it. And the car's just primer, so I just want to make it the best it can be. So what I do is I start out with Windex and steel wool. I'll go through here one direction, and I'm just giving it like a I don't know, maybe just a mild pressure on here. I'm not bearing down on it. If you've ever tried sanding the anodized coating off the aluminum trim, it takes quite a bit of effort. So that stuff is that's a hell of a good product. Anyway, this 4-aught steel wool and Windex will, 4-aught steel wool is very, very soft. So it really does the trick here. Gets all the dirt and contaminants out of the anodizing that's, the sun has cooked on there all these years. And again, I'm not trying to make them perfect. I'm just trying to make them a little bit shinier, so a little bit more presentable. It already looks way better just doing that. Anyway, try to go one direction with your steel wool. Now this will actually remove some of the really light scuffs and scratches. Anything that's deep, it obviously won't. But I'm just going to use my sweatshirt here. Wipe that down. For the next step here. It already looks way better, but it's getting ready to look a whole lot better. So I take another piece of 4/0 steel wool, and I take Mother's Mag and aluminum polish. Just get me some on that steel wool there, 4/0 steel wool. Again, just like a light to medium pressure, I guess, somewhere in between. In one direction. I actually use 4/0 steel wool and Mother's lightly on old chrome parts, and it will polish them very, very nice. Don't use really hard pressure, and make sure you wash the part first, because if you have any contaminants on the chrome, you know, dirt and stuff like that, when you go to polishing on it with that steel wool, it'll actually grind into it and scuff it. So wash it real good first, and then go at it with that, and you'd be very surprised at how well it will turn out when you're done. I've already got some of the trim on my car, and it really turned out fantastic. You know, it's not perfect, but it does look good. Very presentable, especially for a primered car. All right, so I'll take a microfiber here and I'll wipe that sucker down a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks fantastic. Again, it's not perfect because there are some big scratches here and there, but it's not, you know, really, really bad. This is actually the rear drip molding for the passenger side, this piece here for the other side. Anyway, that's what you get when you're done. It just, you know, looks a hell of a lot nicer than it did before. It was just dull gray, and now it's got a little bit of shine to it. So anyway, thought I'd pass it on. It could help somebody else out, you know. But I've got quite the collection of trim started here that I've already buffed on. There's a piece of windshield trim that just turned out really, really nice. Now your windshield trim always has a little bit of road blast in it, so it's really not going to be perfect unless you sand it down and polish it from there. But, here's the drip rail molding for the other side, the upper drip rail molding. Funny story about this one. When I restored my Cutlass Salon, the drip rail trim above on the driver's side of my salon, when I got it out of the attic to restore it, had big old gouge marks in it. I'm assuming somebody locked the keys in their car at one time, so they gouged that aluminum. This stuff's real soft, so it gouged it really bad. So I ended up going to a salvage yard that's local that had a 4-door Cutlass Salon Aero there. So I bought the drip rail trim off of both sides and brought them back home. I think they were $10. And I ended up cleaning it up real nice, and decided I better pre-fit it, and I put it up there and it didn't fit. So 4-door Salon and Century Aero cars do not interchange on the aluminum drip rail to a 2-door Salon or Century Aero. I'm going off memory. I know it was longer on the piece that angles back. I know it's longer, like a couple inches. And it seemed like the degree of angle was different as well. So I learned something on that. So those 4-door drip rails have been in my attic this whole time. And I will never restore a 4-door. So Cutlass Salon, or Buick Century, I should say. So anyway, I got those drip rails out, and I actually cut them down and cut out the piece I need for a new one for this car, because the one on this side was the same thing. It looked like somebody had locked their keys in their car and they just destroyed it. These are pretty intricate. They have notches cut out in them. They are the exact same drip rail, the way they're made. They're just made different. You can see the end of that, the way it's cut and bent. So I ended up having to duplicate that, with a cutoff wheel and everything, and I used some little bitty jeweler's pliers and to do the bends and stuff. But it is identical. Let's see, this is the left side one. This is actually for the right, but I'll show you the ends there. This is a factory one, this is the one I made. But anyway, it's the same drip rail, and it's actually, this one that's on here now is a cut down one. And there it's got my handprints on it from putting it on. So anyway, that's how you polish your trim on the quick and easy, I guess. Very easy to do, but I'm really happy with it. You know, it'll look pretty good on a primered car, but you know, that bright work on that black primer really kind of pops. Especially after polishing on my wheels, I'm really surprised at how old the chrome is on those wheels, but it turned out that nice. I did run into an issue with my B-pillar cover here that goes here. This has a lot of scratches in it, and it looks like, you know, from somebody trying to get their keys out of their car. Really bad scratches in one area. So what I did was, I tried to use some 600 grit sandpaper dry and do brush lines one direction to try to make it look like a brushed insert. Because Cutlass Salon 2-doors have a brushed insert there. So I kind of was going off of that to do it to this to kind of hide the scratches, but it didn't work. You could still see those bad gouges. So I've got some brushed look vinyl in there in the house. So I'm actually going to wrap these. I actually ended up wrapping the ones on my Cutlass Salon too. So I'm going to wrap these B-pillar covers and put them on. And kind of break it up a little bit, get a little bit of detail there. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to give you the rundown, a little polishing of your aluminum trim on your car, A or G body. So I'll probably work a little late tonight. I'll probably end up doing my door handles and door locks and outer window felts and all that stuff. I got a full plate. I got a lot to do. So, and I got to put new roof rail seals in, so I have to clean the channels and all that stuff. So there's a lot to do, man. I did get the header on, and I got the hood ornament on, and I got the headlights back in it. Just little stuff, you know. Every time I put a piece on, I just have a big smile because it's, you know, it's coming together. I can already kind of see what it's going to look like in the end, and things will look kind of tough. Actually, it ain't gonna be tough, but it looks tough.